All still getting there. I can see 1, 2. The G trying to put her around as well. She's putting down better. Think about
G'day punters, welcome back to the MacBet post-op show where we review the Saturday Metro meeting in Brisbane. The boys are joining me as always, professional punter Johnny Mcleod and Tom Henjak. Guys, how are we going today?
Hey James, Tom, all good?
Yeah.
Tired, but good.
We're probably doing a bit better than you, Tommy. Patient zero, or patient 100,000, I should say.
Yeah, I went the early crow on the show last week saying I was untouchable and I hadn't got it after Magic Millions weekend. And then 2 days later, the positive test showed up. So it's been a long 5 days in isolation so far. Spent a lot of time on racing form. Spent a lot of time on 8-ball pool, you know, the game on your app, and a lot of time on Tinder for no success. So yeah, it's been fun.
Tinder bio
how's the household? Have they all got it too?
Well, yeah, Corey, the housemate who I was down at Magic Millions with, he tested positive as well, but Jacob still tested negative somehow, and he's been in isolation with us. So yeah, it makes sense of that.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of punting going on, that's for sure. It's the only thing keeping us sane right now.
We might try and capture COVID in a vial and give it back to you, because the results have been good this week. So if we can keep you in isolation, we'll keep the results rolling. Last week we won at 34%, picked up 12.6 units, which was great. Won across early and the yard, and then for the year still charging along at 33%, up 34 units. Guys, you've really kicked the year off the right way.
It's nice sort of, we can't expect to hold it at 33%, but
yeah.
But if we can hover around that 15, like I said last year, that's big.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think we got a little bit of a breather this week as well. I think we've only got Bow Desert on Wednesday, and then the 2 meetings on Saturday. So no excuse on Wednesday. We got to put in a lot of effort and got a lot of time. So expecting results on Australia Day out there.
What's the game plan when you see Bow Desert pop up? Are you yawning like that, John, or do you get a bit excited that we can find a rod out there?
No, I like Bow Desert. If the rain comes, they're very much come wide there. But if there's no rain, it's just find the horses on the fence. So it's I'm looking forward to it. I like Bow Desert. I haven't been there for a while. I was going there all the time when the meetings were probably about 6 to 8 months ago. There was a heap of meetings on.
Yeah.
I was going to a heap of them, but this will be the first time in probably 6 months.
What kind of day is it out there on Australia Day? Do they have a bit of a party or what?
I think it'd be messy.
I'm kind of just jerried. I might come along. That sounds like a heap of fun.
Yeah, I'm going. It's my first day out of ISO, and I'm going to be off the chain. I'm fired up. Done a few races already. And I think there's some bets there.
All right, it's time for our weekly segment of what caught Tom's eye around the grounds in Queensland. We did miss you off last week, Tom, but you got something here for us from Friday night at the sunny coast. Race 4 might have been a little bit of a bad ride here.
Yeah, look, I don't want to hound her too much because she is a apprentice and she's new to the gig, but we actually bet into this race. The horse in question is Evita Levy in the white colours with the maroon cap. On the early times that are out at the moment on our figures, they've probably gone out 3 lengths fast. So she positions it in a good spot, midfield there, exactly where you want to be. You probably want to be in the middle of the track tonight. So she's got it in the right spot, but she just falls asleep at a crucial time of the race, ends up finding the back of the wrong horses and gets held up for a long time. And as you'll see, once she gets out, it hits the line well and past the post is clearly in front of the rest of the field.
Yeah, I think this was just a cruel race because quoting the leader, we thought it would be back in the field running on the better parts of the track, and he decided to go forward on it. And then, which made the other one we had something on, I think it ran second last there. It had to work 3 wide because Quoten went forward. And then this girl on Evita Levy, she didn't know she was out there. There's only a few rules that that young jockeys need to wake up to is if the speed's on, you come to the outside, and if there's no speed, you look for runs. And the speed's on, and she waits. She lets everything go around her. And, it was just a good ride by Bailey. I think it was on the winner. But you can see her hitting the line now. It was just ridiculous what she did. She really should, someone should have a real talk to her, because that's a disgrace. When we sort of preempted this could happen, I think I only had a half a unit on this just because, she was on it, and she did exactly what was possible that she could do. And it was just, that was terrible. You're going to be, you're not going to get $7 or $8 in that type of race again. You're going to be, probably taking favourite, to be favourite next time. And exactly like it was at Doom in the previous start. And it just pulled its head off the previous one with the better jockey on it, over raced and probably got its tongue over the bit and just didn't want to finish off. And, 3 runs ago, it went really good. Went no good at Doomben when it's probably got the tongue over the bit, and then it's come out, and that's what happened to us. So anyway, we live and learn, and hopefully she does too.
Yeah, the only explanation I can kind of think of is maybe only being third up, they think the horse has a short, sharp sprint, so maybe they trainers have instructed her to hold it up for a short burst. But yeah, as you said, you just can't be stuck in a pocket like that in a fast run race and letting horses go around you. You're just never going to win a race with tactics like that.
Well, she got the best jockey in Brisbane in front of her. And if she doesn't want to follow the best jockey in Brisbane, who's she going to follow?
Exactly.
That's just shocking.
Actually, it was Sam Collett on board, but yeah, you could arguably say she's the best jockey at the moment because she's riding like a freak, Sam Collett.
Yeah, well, she is. She's riding every winner. And it's just, if you don't know the form of the other horses, it was favourite, the winner, and it has got a good jockey on it. So if you know the favourite, you can see it in front of you, follow it. And if you don't know it's a favourite, pick out the best jockeys and do what they do.
That's a good point.
All right, guys, before we jump into our review of the Doomben races from last Saturday, how did you guys think the track was going to play, and did it turn out how you anticipated?
Pretty much played the way we thought it would play, maybe a little bit further out than what we thought. We were probably thinking the 3, 4, 5 lane, but it was more probably 5, 6, 7 lane. That was the lane to the best place to be. So, just as far as track goes, it was always going to be around the 6, 7 mark. It played like a 6. So, it was all right. I don't mind it when it's like that. It's either the bad ones are when they're around the 4, 5 mark or 5, because you just don't know which way to go, or whether you should help the wet trackers or not help them. And I like them wet or dry.
All right, diving into our analysis of the Doomben races from Saturday. Race 1 wasn't a betting race for us. This was won by Pomade. Started at $3.50.
Yep, this is my race. The market really came for Pomade late. However, I was still surprised that Licensed and Ready held its spot in the market. It's in the Butterworth colours, the orange and white. I guess you could maybe forgive it. It goes out pretty hard in front, but it did find the lead in the rails, which it was able to do up the sunny coast last start. It kind of just showed that the Queensland 2-year-old form so far that's been exposed is really no good. I know it had the small margin to Thelwell, but yeah, I just couldn't get it close to the market. And it's kind of dogged it here and tailed away a long way off the winner. I wasn't able to be there, obviously, because of the bat virus, but John gave a good rap to the winner from the yard. It didn't trial with the blinkers at Gosford, but off the tapes, it looked like a really nice type. It does a lot wrong in the run and still able to get the job done sitting outside the leader in its first start. Good girl. It runs on okay with Bez Marty from the back. I mean, I think they were entitled to with the tempo that was set in front. But yeah, all credit to the winner. I think it's probably the only one you could follow going down to stronger races in Sydney. Bez Marty, I thought was a bit strange, to be honest. It's a Magic Millions horse, and to start its campaign after the Magic Millions series, it was kind of a bit iffy, but good girl. Chikara. They're both English Millennium eligible, so maybe you'll see them pop up down south, and most definitely the winner in a pretty handy race.
Yeah, the interesting part about this race is what I was talking to Ollie down the track, and he's the racing. What's he with?
Racing Rant.
Mark Lambourne, yeah, he's with them, and he said the same thing, that it was probably the best parade of 2-year-olds that we'd seen, and there was probably 4 or 5 in the race that were, just nice types, including the winner. And the winner's gone good. Just worked early, lost the plot halfway down the straight and everything, but just a lovely type, and I think it'll go all right. I think the sectionals are completely different. Well, we've got it, so hopefully we're right.
Yeah, just visually as well. Like, it's got so much improvement in it. It does so much wrong. And I'm not surprised that from the yard, these were the best looking horses we've seen. I think Besmarty was a 300,000 purchase. Good Girl was a 350,000 purchase. The market also came for the Warren Gavenlock horse from the Northern Rivers. I was really surprised by that as well. As John mentioned, when the rails in the true at Doomben, being on the fence after there's been rain throughout the week isn't ever really the spot to be. And it also, the trial at Coffs, it was in the best part of the track. And it was against really nothing. So I was surprised it was as firm as what it was late as well. Was it anything to look at in the yard, John?
I just can't remember that one. I haven't got my sheet up, but there was a good 4 or 5 of them, that were good. I didn't like the look of Licensed and Ready. I thought it was a lightly framed thing, but it may have been one of them. First 3 certainly.
Yeah.
All right, jumping into race 2 here, we had a half unit on Gave Us Up in the morning at $5.50. We had another half unit on Mashiki, $9.50 in the morning.
Yeah, this race, I was quite happy to bet in this race just because of Temelay being so short. And he's always going to go back in the field, and there was never going to be any speed in the race. Now, interesting part, what I thought was what Stewart did out of the barriers. He grabbed hold and went back on Gave Us Up, and he made a blue. It's the first time I think I've seen him, just make a mistake, out of the barriers. That's for sure. It's not his go to ride him a bit quiet, especially in a race where it's sort of known that there's no speed in the race. And I think if he goes forward and sits on the outside of Mashiki and then lets Abracadazzle go around him, he wins. Temelay did get, poleaxed, or not poleaxed, he ran up onto heels, ran about the 600 or the 500. He was starting to come into the race a little bit, but, I don't think he would have won. I think he might have run a good third, running on as per normal what he does. Mashiki probably was too big a step going to a 1600 on a slow track second up. So I was aware of that, and I was worried. I really liked its run first up, and I probably would have had more units on it if I didn't think it was second up going to the mile on the wet, but I just had to have something on it. And Indian Dreamer just well ridden here, got into the right spot, peeled out and into the right spot, and out sprinted it. So, it's pretty easy to see what was the good runs. Gave Us Up went good. Alatar went all right. Mashiki's probably a forgive run next time, just because it's just wasn't fit enough, and Temelay was a little bit unlucky as per normal.
Yeah, not too much to add. They get going pretty slow when Mistress of Doom is leading them up, to be honest. They've gone pretty slow here, and obviously you'd probably, with the inside being off, the second pair is where you want it to be, and perfect ride by Maloney to get the job done on Indian Dream. He's a very hard horse to catch.
Race 3 at Doomben, not a betting race for us. This one was won by Sea Raider, SP $3.80.
Line, they're racing.
Yep. So they go out 2.5 lengths faster than average here, led up by Jack Spratt, who was on the quick backup from the Ballina Cup in a slow run mile. So I was always kind of happy to risk it. I know we didn't bet into the race, but the market still kind of kept him firmish in the market. Maybe that was due to the wet track, because he is a lightly framed horse and is suited. Cloak, Kilner got caught trapped wide a little bit early, and ended up just having to push the button. Not really sure what to do with that from here on in. From the yard, I think he was fit enough to run a race here and just hasn't really finished off. I know he's in the worst part of the track, but I don't think he was going well enough to kind of get off in the straight. The horse who I did entertain back in the end was Super Giant, but he's just such a tricky horse to catch. The first up run at the Gold Coast, there wasn't really much intent shown there. They restrained him from the wide gate, and from the inside gate, they were always going to be a bit more positive here, but he just doesn't finish off his races these days. And perhaps maybe it was the sting out. Maybe he goes better on a dry track, but a lot of these horses, they just keep going round and round and round. Sea Raider was pretty firm in the morning in the marketplace. Callow's given him the perfect ride here for fast tempo, just fourth pair on the fence, smoking the pipe. He's gone to a new level here on the ratings. Does he run out a mile? Jury's still out for me. I know they've gone quick here, but this is a pretty average bunch. I mean, Bargannon's come second in the best part of the track, and so Barnabas has run third. John said he was ready from the yard, but I guess it's always tough to do that from last at Doomben in the mile with 59 kilos off, I think, 120-day spell. So not a strong open grade mile race for here. So I think one that could probably improve going forward is Cedar Power. From gate one, second up with Wendy Peel, just caught pulling its head off and just in the wrong part of the track. Perhaps maybe third or fourth up it can improve, and Traduce was probably ridden a little bit too close for my liking. I think third and fourth up, they'll probably go back, and with tempo on, I think it can definitely improve, perhaps to a bigger track like Caloundra or something like that.
Yeah, the only thing I got to add is that, Super Giant just looks sore in front to me. I think, but it's going to always be like that. I think he's got a lot of problems, that horse, and very hard to catch. And you'll put it together one day, but just the way that he's walking around the yard, I just didn't like the way that he walked. And he was one horse that I was, looking to back, but when he didn't look right, I was happy to put the hands in the air.
Yeah, sorry. So they actually went 4 lengths fast in front. My bad. And you can kind of know that this is a pretty bad form race when they go that fast in front, and then there's a length covering the first 5 horses past the line. That's a pretty good indicator that it's a pretty bad form race.
Moving along to race 4 here, we had 3 bets in the morning on the tip sheet and platinum sheet. We had a half unit on Linthorpe Lad at $8, half unit on Continuation at $15, and half unit on Skachonic at $9.
Yeah, we had them by the orchestras here. Just didn't want to let them go. Skachonic, they were good odds in the morning. It's shortened up, and SP'd around the $7, and somehow they've really come for Linthorpe Lad. It's gone from $8 into $4 with Montana on it. I think there was a lot of screaming and yelling, going to this first corner. I think everything was just a big worry for a lot of jockeys. She got herself in more trouble in Flash and dropped out. And then the other one, Continuation, I think it was about $21 or $18 and shortened up and probably got back to the $18 at the finish. So the one we were going to bet against was C. Marie. I just didn't think it could run the 2,000 metres on a slow track, and I don't think it did. I'm sure it didn't. I think it's going to be, restricted to the 1,600, 1,400, 1,600 next preparation, and going to give it a little bit of a spell or a little bit of a break, and just keep it for around that sort of that distance. But it was nice because it was about $2.20 in the morning, and I think it started around $5 on Betfair at one stage, or got out to $5. Might have shortened into a 7 or 2 or something, or like that at the finish. But when a favourite goes up so short, that I think we had it about $6, $7. We've got a bet. We backed 3 horses, and we were lucky enough to find a winner.
Yeah, so what do you make of Linthorpe Lad here? Do you think he's actually gone all right? From gate 3, she's ended up 3 wide the trip. The horse is never comfortable. She ends up switching off heels at the 600 and comes up the worst part of the track. The market really come for her late. Is it a forgive run? Where do they go from here?
Anything that
you need a jog switch.
Yeah, yeah. Anything that's got a bump, forgive. I don't care how small it is, how big it is, just forgive it. horses get thrown off their, onto their wrong leg, or they get winded, or anything happen. We don't really know. But if there's an excuse that she can, even a small enough excuse, forgive it, because you're going to get a better price next time if you're right. And too many times, you can see horses that, you think, oh, was that a good enough excuse to excuse it? The market will say no. It'll get out in the market and it'll bite you on the ass and beat you. So
Yeah,
any
but
bump,
for this,
yeah.
sorry for like, but I'm just like, for this horse to start $4 favorite, like I thought that was very surprising. Have they gone off a run earlier in the preparation? Perhaps the one at Doomben, over 1350, where it ran enormous sectionals from that day.
I think they've probably gone back to the 3-year-old days last year when it was, I think Doomben one day it won well, and a lot of these horses are probably gunners, or they've been racing at Ipswich.
Yeah, and they're just well exposed now.
Yeah, and again, they've found a favourite to bet around. They've found Linthorpe Lad to back. We found it as well to throw something on it, but to force it into that price, that was the surprising part, as you say. But I was very worried about Kateo. I had big multis, or just a lot of trifectas and first fours and everything, and they've run 1, 3, 4, 5 there, and I didn't like the second one at all, and I was just sick when I seen these white colours of Niv Morgan's coming down the outside. I just nearly, it was a very good race, turned level. So gave all my good work back just on bloody trifectas and first fours.
Okay, race 5 here. No bets from us. Alf's Magic got the cash at $7.
Yeah, it was a bit sick in the end. I probably should have bet into this race. I just didn't really know much about Alf's Magic. On paper, it kind of looked like it was always going to get an easy lead. I think in the end, they ended up going 2.5 lengths slow in front. Burn, as he does, he's able to get these horses out of the gates quickly. And once he finds the lead, no one really keen to take him on. I guess Pentito did settle further forward than I anticipated. Being first up at 1200 with Maloney on board, he wasn't really going to pressure the lead either. Logo Mania and Rockinardi settle in the second pair there, which made it difficult for those horses worse than midfield to make a run, because they aren't really talented horses and weren't going to tow anything into the race. But yeah, in a slow run race, Burn's able to get 3 to 4 lanes off the fence and just get to the best part of the track, and it was catch me if you can. Red Wave is a really nice horse. It's probably looking for further this preparation. The wheels just started to spin there around the bend, but he did hit the line well. I think he ran the second fastest last 200 of the meeting. He was always going to be risky, resuming at 1200 from an inside gate with Ben Thompson on board. He isn't really one to push and shove to get to the right part of the track. I guess the horse that I kind of tempted backing was the eventual favourite, Kips Bay. It was actually accepted for that Magic Millions maiden race last week, and it was well supported in early markets. It does a lot wrong though. As you could see, I think behind the gates or in the barriers, it started to play up. They were tinkering with gear changes. The lugging bit came off and the Norton bit went on, which seemed to work in the trial, but they elected to restrain from the wide gate, and he just pulled his head off back in the field. So he's a really immature thing, but he still reeled off some good sectionals against the tempo of the race. And perhaps once he grows up, put him back in the paddock. He's got ability, but he just needs to grow up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting what they do with that Kips Bay, because they must have gone to the stewards and said they're going to ride it quiet. When it went back in that sort of race, that type of horse, it's in trouble. But geez, it's a lovely type, and the winner was a really good walker. They've known what they were doing with Panino, because the market really come for it, and it went forward out of the gates with Maloney on it, which is a bit of a surprise. When it got it to the outside, it was a 2-horse race, and it was just a matter of who was going to sprint quickest. And thank God Elf's Magic sprinted quicker than Panino because I laid Panino or Pentito. So
Yeah,
got away with
I think in the morning on the sheets, I think we had Pentito $9 plus. It was always kind of happy to risk it off the form that it brought last preparation. Like I think it beat a horse called Star Patrol in a really weak Doomben maiden over 13.50. And then it went to an open 3-year-old race at Eagle Farm and didn't do anything flash. And to be honest, I know it was first up outside the leader in a slow run race here, but I don't really think it's done much here to warrant it starting this kind of price in a similar field next start.
Okay, race 6 here. We had 2 bets from the yard. We had a half unit on Alert and Ready around the $14 mark and 2 units on Amitygal around $2.20. And this was the only bet I had all weekend, and it's gone over.
And that mouse has come up the back of your ears there, mate. This race I completely ballsed up. I really thought Emily Girl was going to be a nice horse, and they were coming to the right part of the track, that 4 lane, and I didn't think he'd do what he did, push the button and go as fast as he did. And I thought if they did go fairly quick up front, well then Alert and Ready had a chance of running over a lot of them. And Self-Indulgent, it proved me wrong. I didn't think it could run 1200 real strong. I thought it was a little bit disappointing the other day. And then you got Frosty Mango. It's coming off a first up good run, being new and fat in the yard, to failing on a wet track, which didn't surprise me, just second up, hurting. And then he's gone back to his run and improved on his first up effort on his 3rd run. So, that shows you a little bit of my thinking on horses first up, second up, 3rd up. I still thought it might have been in a bit of trouble because it was 3rd on the fence in the run, or I thought it would be, and that wasn't the place to be. So, got everything wrong in that race.
Yeah, the market really came for Alert and Ready late. John sent out, I think, 2 units from the yard, Self-Indulgent and a saver on Alert and Ready. And when I saw Alert and Ready $5 on Betfair, I was like, I cannot take this price, this horse. It was always going to kind of settle last. And person of the moment, what do you say? The girl of the moment, Monty Savage, was the one the market came for again. I'm not sure what jockey rating the big teams are giving her, but I think they must be giving her a J-Mac type rating to get this horse this short alongside Linthorpe Lad. As John said, Self-Indulgent has probably been a bit unlucky in its 2 starts this preparation. I think first up it resumed at 1,050 at Doomben, was caught wide and working on a hot speed with Jaden Lloyd outside it that day, just pestering it the entire time. And then I think second up, they wanted to go back and she ended up having to go forward and sit outside the leader. I think here they've just settled second pair, let her relax and found another gear. I remember John telling me in the yard last start that this is a really, really nice horse, but with these types of horses, it's hard to keep them in work for long, given how well built this horse is. I guess she showed here that she's proved the hype, I guess you could say. Nice horse is Self-Indulgent.
Lovely type.
All right, race 7 at Doomben, we had 2 units on Peroni in the morning at $3.50. That one's in the maroon silks. And then we had a half unit on Renouf at $6.50 in the morning.
Yeah, this was fucked, to be honest. This was my biggest bet of the day, and I was hurting after this, as was John. This was a race that we were really keen to bet into. There was a few holes in the race. Mort Doyle was always going to go forward with Cozzy and set an okay tempo, you could say. Mort Doyle was always going to be suspect at 1,200 with the big weight, with the inside of the track being off. Peroni was just primed 3rd up, I thought, to run a good race, was always going to settle in the 2nd or 3rd pair on a slow speed and was in the worst part of the track last start. And the sectionals were against it when Xanthus went up against it. So you could easily be backing Peroni over Xanthus. The market really came for Thunder Mania again. I'm not really sure where that money's come from. I don't think the horse has come up this preparation. I know it finished third in a stronger race last start, but it's just going no good, this horse. It was always going to settle at the back of the field in a slow run race as well, from the inside gate with Craig Robertson, who's new to Doomben. I was always happy to risk that horse. Renouf was the big improver, I thought. At the Sunny Coast, she ran enormous sectionals there. And if they were going to go fast in front here, she was the one to save on. But the eventual winner, Bad Barista, I couldn't get it this short. The market did, and the market was well and truly correct. Off our ratings, she's improved big time. I always kind of thought she was going to improve back in distance. We always had a query on her running 1400, 1350, but to improve this much was quite remarkable, I thought. The only thing I can put it down to is they've ridden her a bit quieter here than what they have previously this preparation. They've kind of sat in that second and third pair, let her come back underneath the jock and just followed Peroni into the race and exposed her kind of for that last 400 burst. And she's run the fastest last 400 of the meeting. So I think they've found the key to her, which is 1200 meters, second, third pair, and let her do the rest. I know she's come in the best part of the track, but she has improved here, and the market got it right. Too good. If I had my time again, I'd probably, I guess I was pretty happy with the bets in the end. Peroni's scored good and so has Renouf, but Bad Barista's made the improvement, and hats off to them.
Yeah, I think it's there's probably there's a couple of lengths in where it came, on the track, but got it improved and went like a bomb, and it should be backed again. I think on that effort, to turn a foot, just went good. Ride it like that again, it'll be winning again. Surprising the market with Peroni, like they really went against it, and I can't see why. In the yard, it looked well. You got horses like Thundermania, which it's nothing flash. Xanthus, you can never back. It's stepping short in front and everything. Cozzy, he's always going to give up. Bad Barista they came for, and they were right. Mort Doyle was always going to be a horse that's going to be suspect over 1200, and so I just kept on thinking, well, why with Peroni? And it probably should have been an each way bet, because it was always going to be in the right spot and doing what it did. It just found one that jumped out of the ground and beat it. Yeah,
I think like when I was doing the review today, you go back to Bad Barista's run. The last time they rode it cold, I think, was at Eagle Farm over 1200, and that was behind Lady Banff and another horse escapes my memory, and that was its best run. And I was in the best part of the track that day, but it ran super that day too. So if they can get her to relax going forward like she has here, definitely can improve and keep going through the grades. I think like there is a prick going past the line here. She's done it pretty easy in the end.
Yep.
Moving on to race 8 at Doomben from Saturday. This race was won by Kingston's here. SP 370, that one's in the purple colours. This wasn't a betting race for us.
The ride of the day, just pinged out of the lids, got it over to the right spot. Ronnie Stewart, probably got over into a good spot, but railed up into the bad spot. So it was a good win. But he just, he crossed a few of them straight away, eased, perfect ride, got into the right spot. He's finished up third in the fence where you didn't really want to be, but if he was able to get to fourth too wide, it was a perfect. He had to switch back on the inside. The horse is flying. We said that the other day, that it was a very good win, even though it came in the right part of the track the other day. It was still a solid win. The thing with this horse was how it played up in the yard a little bit. That surprised me. He's never a real horse that settles a lot, but he played up a lot. He was starting to break out, which I don't think I've seen him break out as much as he did, which is surprising. But he's handled it and went good. We thought Go Gold would improve, which it did. Came down the right part of the track. Liza was going good, that horse. Went good at Ipswich, where they put all their money on. I never thought it could run, third in a race, fourth in a race like that. I didn't think it was up to them, but they put plenty of money on a horse, Air Spirit, which we had a lot longer than the market, and they come for it heavy. It went no good. couple of horses I thought had a little hope were Elixir and One Strike. But in the yard again, they were stepping short in front, which is a worry. Full Nelson looked beautiful. To give it, get it back onto a dry track, it'll improve.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else to make of this race. Like, I was very surprised the money came for Air Spirit. Was always going to settle midfield on the rails, and it's always tough to, I guess, in races over this distance at Doomben, if you're not in those first three pairs, it's always going to be very difficult. But as John said, we had Gogol. I think we had Gogol $5 on our sheets or something like that, and I was surprised that it didn't start a lot shorter. It's gone good again here, Gogol. The stable is struggling a little bit at the moment, but there has to be a win for him in store somewhere. And Panino's dropped back in distance into a fast run race in the worst part of the track and returned to some sort of form as well. So I'm not sure what that says about the race, but he's obviously good on a track with Sting out.
All right, lucky last from Doomben on Saturday. Roman Aureus won this one here in the orange and green colours. SP 650. I think we had the half unit on in the morning at $8.50. Thanks, John.
Yeah, it was a horse that was always going to get into the right spot. It's a matter of whether you could trust it again. I didn't. I let it go. But, you know, at the $8, $8.50 or whatever it was in the morning, I should have bet, and I didn't bet. I threw a half a unit on it because I knew that it was going to get in the right spot, and it was always going to be there, likes the track, likes the sting out of the track. And it was the right odds. But stupid me thought I'll wait and see how the track's playing and everything. And by the time you wait, they come in, and I sort of put the hands in the air and walked out, even though it got out in the market at the finish. I just knew I had to back about 3 or 4 horses, and I sort of I got out of trouble, and I didn't want to get back in. And so I went to water, and I shouldn't have. I should have quite easily been on Roman Aureus and Glitterstrip. They were the 2 horses, and Fleet Dove. Fleet Dove looked beautiful in the yard, as did the other 2. I was happy to bet against Strange Charm just to step up and grade here. That was a bit of a worry. Paladas, funny hit. I gave it a fair bit on its improvement on its run at the coast, and it probably improved a bit more. It's gone back to it's getting back to its 3-year-old days. Last time in, it was a lot fitter in the yard. But the one thing that really worried me when it was going out was that when the jockey got on, and it started to play up really badly. So that's something I'm going to have to look at when it next starts. I think it's improving the horse. He's definitely right now as far as fitness goes. It's just mentally whether he's putting in or not. He's come in the right part of the track here. That's the question mark, whereas the other 2 are in the worst part. So he probably should have got him down here. That's especially Glitterstrip's in the wrong place, and Roman Aureus is not in the best place. So, it's just one of those races. They take turns. Maps important in these type of races. We mapped it right. I stupidly didn't bet.
So what do you make? Where does Glitterstrip go from here? I mean, I thought last start, perhaps they rode her a bit too close. They put the blinkers on here. I know she's in the worst part of the track again, but she's a lightly framed horse. I think she's kind of suited with Sting out on a track like this. I'm not really sure where. I guess they'll probably go to a class 6 or something again. Do you reckon she has a win in her this preparation?
No, I think she's buggered because that 1 to 3 lane was all equal. So there's no difference in those 1 to 3 lanes. So in the ways that she finished off the race, she went backwards. So I don't like the look of that at all. And there's no improvement in the yard at all for her. So I don't like the look of that at all.
And a horse like, can someone explain to me, like the fucking Ritz last start of the Gold Coast was shot out of a fucking cannon to get over the top of Paladas. And I know he's probably hit a massive flat spot here at the 4 to the 2. Like his last 200's okay, but for me to watch Paladas completely own the Ritz here by how many lengths is it in the end? 4.5 lengths after loading Paladas last start. That was a bit cruel for me, to be honest.
All right, that concludes our post-operation analysis of the races at Doomben on Saturday. As always, we're going to get the number one runner to follow from each of the boys. We'll start with John. What's your one to follow out of the meeting?
I'm going to go with Bad Barista. We repriced it around 350. Won well, did everything right. I know it come in the best part of the track, but it's I think or I hope they've found the right type of situation for that horse. So I'm going to go with it.
And Tom.
Yep, I'm going to go goal. From the wide gate, they went back over 1,100. I think we've repriced it $7. It's kind of confirmed the pre-race price that we'd come up with, and stepping up, third up, going to 1,200. Wherever it goes next, I'll be on for sure.
All right, well, that's the two to follow out of the meeting, Go Goal and Bad Barista. Like we touched on earlier, there's not a lot of racing on this week, but we are steaming into Bow Desert for Australia Day. And Saturday, Metro Racing goes to the Sunshine Coast and the provincial meeting out at Ipswich.
Yep.
We'll be there.
All right.
Yep.
Well,
we're going to Caloundra.
Yeah, I'm going to go.
Yep.
I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Too good.
Toowoomba's back Saturday night as well. Maybe I'll go to Toowoomba. Haven't decided yet.
Here we go. When are you out of jail? When are you out of quarantine jail?
Wednesday. Yeah, I'll be at Bow Desert.
All right. Well, we'll be looking for you tweeting from the yard. But thanks, guys, for watching. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, guys. As always, head to macbet.com.au. Get yourself a weekly or a monthly subscription. You'll get the provincial meeting on the Saturday and all the yard stuff. We've been killing it this year, so get involved. But thanks, boys, for your time. We'll hear from you next week.
Thanks, boys.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Cheers,
guys.
boys. Get around us.